You've got questions? Andrew Mason has the answers. This is Mason's Mailbag, presented by Prime Sport.
Upstairs at the UC Health Training Center for this week's Mailbag, I'm Andrew Mason. Thanks for joining me as always. Let's get started with the first question about Garett Bolles and his progress. What have you seen in the past few weeks and months that has really impressed you about him? Well, first of all, his resilience. This goes back to what he was doing on the practice field in OTAs, and in particular during training camp. You're going up against a guy like Von Miller. You're going to get challenged and tested, and it didn't faze him. Yes, Von Miller would beat him with an array of moves and, uber quick athleticism, but at the same time, Garett Bolles just kept dusting himself off, not getting frustrated, incorporating tips from Von Miller and other players and his coaches, and then going right back to work. And that's the sort of resilience that you want to see. Another thing, in games and then even in practice sometimes, hey, look, if you're beaten, it's okay to hold. There's a such thing as a good holding penalty. You don't, obviously, you want to win every matchup, but sometimes when you're beaten, it's better to just take the holding penalty and have 1st and 20 or whatever, then allow your quarterback to get hit. Garett Bolles at least knows when to do that. Take the penalty, make sure you protect the quarterback, go on to the next play. And certainly, overall, his tenacity and also his athleticism, his willingness to never quit on a play, to be persistent. I like what he does in terms of continuing to get downfield, to block for receivers, make that extra block downfield for a running back. You see that on more than a few plays with Garett Bolles. All of those things are very encouraging for Garett Bolles. He's coming along very well. It looks like the Broncos have found a left tackle that's going to be there in the lineup for a long time to come. Next question from Twitter: was Carlos Henderson placed on season-ending injured reserve, or is he an option to help at wide receiver? Well, he's not an option to help this season. The way it works, Carlos Henderson went on injured reserve when the Broncos cut the roster down to 53. And because he went on IR at the roster deadline immediately, that meant that his season was done right then and there. To be eligible to return, to be one of the two players that can be brought back on recallable injured reserve, you have to be on the roster during the regular season, on the 53-man roster. That was not the case for Carlos Henderson. That was the case for Shane Ray. He was actually on the 53 for a day and then went to injured reserve. That is why he's eligible to come off IR in time for the Kansas City game on October 30th. Carlos Henderson, they can't use it on him with the thumb injury that he had back in the preseason. His season is done. That's why you saw the Broncos bring up Hunter Sharp. And, of course, they'll expect Isaiah McKenzie and Emmanuel Sanders both back at some point from their sprained right ankles in the next few weeks. Carlos Henderson, don't expect to see him until the 2018 season. Thanks for the questions. And if you want to join us next week, go to denverbroncos.com/Mason's Mailbag. Find me on Twitter. I'm at Mace Denver. Use the hashtag AskMace. And every weekday, Monday through Friday, catch myself, Ryan Edwards, and Ring of Famer Steve Atwater on Orange and Blue 760 for First and 10 at 10. A lot of good Broncos chatter, some outstanding guests. We had Terrell Davis on with us Thursday. You could actually find that interview over at orangeandblue760.com. But we have plenty of guests and chatter every day, so go over there, stay tuned, listen in. Plenty of conversation all day on Orange and Blue 760. Until next week, take care, and thanks for watching.